Good evening, all. Whoops. Hello. How is everybody? Hope you're all well. Thank you very much for coming over and joining us for a special guest Earworm. Hope you've enjoyed this lovely heat if you're in the UK, but it's cooler now, so that's much better. It's Friday night, so it's all about chilling out, ready for the weekend. And if you've got some questions for Martin, I'm sure Martin will be happy to answer. So let's welcome everybody in. So as we have Joe Senior, the better part of Yorkshire Grit, Terry from TJ Turn, who's actually now got internet. Rock on.
Hello, campers.
And obviously our special guest there were Martin. Thank you all for coming in and joining me.
Evening all.
I'm just going to turn that camera because I seem to be sitting on top of the worktop. Right, so as we all know, Martin is the brains behind Hampshire Sheen, or you may not know, but you do now. Hampshire Sheen is a well-known product for colouring, finishing for the woodturning world. So if you've got any questions or any issues with your colouring or finishing with the Hampshire Sheen products, then I'm sure Martin will help you out where he can. Obviously, read the instructions.
I'll do my best.
Read the instructions is the key thing, but I'm sure Martin will help you out where he can. So I am going to be, let's put you guys in the background. So I'm going to be turning a small piece of beech. I know it's beech because I had beech on it. It is actually
beech written on it.
It had beech on it, and all the sand has given it away. So right, so it is 180 across by 50 mil deep. So something nice, curved bowl, and I'm going to do a spigot on the end. Since Martin's here, he'll only moan at me if I don't. So and then we're going to give it some. We're going to use the Hampshire Sheen colours and give it a nice bit of colouring. I'm hoping there's going to be a nice bit of pattern in there, as you can see by the bottom of that. But we'll see when we get turned. So while I get a smock on in this nice warm workshop and get this ready to go, I think Joe's going to read out the chat, if I remember rightly.
He certainly is.
I am. Good evening and welcome everybody. So at the top of my list, we've got Norman Greenwell, Klondike Craftsman, Hire Lewis, Door 60, Mark Pritchard, Weeval. We've got Brian Eltonera de Madeira, or Brian with a Y. Come on, give us a break.
She has to every
time. Ward Wilson, Mark Harbour. We've got Heather from Spirit Woodstone and Bone. We've got, keep looking, Wood Wizardry by Colin, Barry Chitty.
Any time today, Joe.
Shut your face. Woodworks High Chase, Todd at Glen Cove Woodworks. William Kenny, Clive Rogerson, Doug Miller at Woodspun Round, Paul Hoyton, the Greasby Turner, got Barry's Wood Creations, Clive Rogerson, Wivey Woodshed, David
Andrew.
David J. Heath. Was that Wivey Woodshed you were shouting?
Yes.
Andrew to?
Yes.
Jennifer's Crafting Creations. Hi, Jennifer.
Ruby.
Steve Hale. James Crawford. Brian Green. Rex B. Woodturning's by Barry. Hope you're doing okay, Barry. Graham Brown.
Nearly
John
finished
McDonald.
the outside then, Steve.
Sorry?
Nearly finished the outside.
Be nice, Terry. Be nice.
John McDonald. Clint at Wood Dancers. We're getting there. Slowly but surely. Got Martin Saban-Smith, Woodturning.
Hello.
Got Stephen the Wood Dude. Ian Cook.
Ruby Clare's here. Hi, Ruby.
Hey,
Hi, Ruby.
Richard Benton.
Right, Dad.
That's your dad, isn't it?
Hey.
Yeah. Gavin Dirty. Hi, Dad. I haven't come across Ruby's name yet. Scott Dunn.
Blimey, you're late behind them.
Mark L. Well, I'm reading everybody's name out. 65 people, so. Ruby Claire. Wow, we've got loads of people in, Steve.
Nice, isn't it?
Nick Castle.
Oh. The shop cat's just turned up and she's moaning in the background. She wants to be fed again.
Oh, okay.
DJ
Again?
Buckley.
Yeah, 3 times a day she gets fed.
Jeepers.
Christine and Michael Heseltine. I will get there, Steve.
It's all right. I'm in no hurry.
Oh, hello,
Uh,
Christine
that-
and Michael.
Hi, Christine.
And that's it. So if you've got any questions for Martin, if you could start by QQQ or question or something, just to help us spot the question, that would be really helpful. Fire away.
Fire away.
Now,
I've got one question for Martin from Hodgepodge. I don't know if Martin saw it.
Yeah.
Martin,
Yeah.
you will need to make sure that Steve removes the chucking points. He's got a bad habit of leaving them on his pieces.
Well, yes. I don't know if there'll be time for Steve to do that this evening, but I'm sure he does. Am I putting actions into your hands here, Steve?
Well,
Do you remove your chucking points?
I normally do tenons, to be honest. Well, when I'm doing YouTube video or like lives, I normally do tenons because I only
That is
like
a
to.
tenon.
Oh, well, you know, I mean, a spigot then.
No.
No, a mortise. No, sorry, a mortise. Sorry, I normally do mortises.
Says the builder. He's not even sure which one he's using.
He's a carpenter as well.
Yeah.
Not a very good one, obviously.
Benjamin's in. I did say, Roy, I did say your name. Honestly, I did.
But because obviously I don't like to go much more than 90 minutes, sometimes it's not time to remove it. So that's why I use a mortise. But I know you moan at me for using a mortise, so.
Yeah, occasionally. Do you? But do you remove that chucking point afterwards?
This chucking point, yeah, I will do, yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
There we go.
if it's
Hodgepodge.
if it's a nice
Not a
piece and
bandsaw.
I don't want to refinish it, then I will finish it. But if I want to refinish it, then I'll get it on the linisher and grind it down. No, joking.
Now, also from Rod Hodgepodge, Steve, if I recall last time Martin was here, he told you what colours to use.
I did.
Will this be happening again?
Oh.
If Steve's using the choice that he was talking about when we were having a chat backstage, then yes.
I actually dug out your sheets the other night. What's on your website? So perhaps we'll pick one of those to do,
Okay.
and we'll see if they're idiot proof.
Oh, well. No comment.
I don't know what to say to that, Steve.
Depends what idiots look at them.
We've got AGK Woodworks in. Hi, Andrew.
Hi, Andrew.
And there's another question from the Wood Do for you, Martin.
Yeah. You need feeding 3 times a day. So long as you don't mind eating tuna or salmon or chicken in jelly, then yeah, feel free.
Rex B wants to know, is Hampshire Sheen Citrus Burnio, does that work as a sanding sealer, or do you sand the sealer prior to this?
No,
Given the
oils
great smell.
I'm glad you like it. But no, oils are generally not sanding sealers as they don't contain enough solids to make them a proper sealer. They do assist, but they're not going to seal the wood properly.
Now, Ruby's saying she prefers a tenon to a mortise.
Yes, definitely.
Yes.
Tenon to a mortise. I'm going to tell you a little story in a minute, just while Steve's doing that. I decided. I decided. Well, Les and I at the woodturning shop here a good few weeks ago now, we were talking about what it would be like to be a student. Because it's been a long time since either of us were students learning a new skill rather than students at school. And we thought it would be a really good idea if we were to, go off and learn a new skill. So a few weeks ago, it was my birthday, and my lovely wife, Natalia, she bought me a day's pottery.
Brilliant.
Right.
So I think it was the 6th of July, I went off and I did a day's pottery with a group of other people. And I'd never done pottery before, so it was a really interesting experience to be a student again and feel what it's like to be on the learning side of a classroom with a completely new skill that I'd never done before. And had a fantastic day. And I'm actually going to pick up my 6 finished pieces tomorrow morning.
Wow.
Oh, thank you, Ruby. So I'm really, really, really looking forward to seeing those pieces. And it was a very interesting experience as well, because, sometimes you get, you get carpenters, chippies, joiners, whatever, saying, I want to learn how to turn. I'm good with tools because I'm a carpenter or a chippy or whatever. But then you put them on the lathe and they find that it is completely different to what they're used to, because they're using their hands in a different way. Turning is not something really that requires a massive amount of brute force, whereas chippies and joiners are using hammers and chisels and banging the chisels and what have you. But here with turning, of course, it's it's almost a gentle sport compared to chippying or whatever.
Wood butchery.
And yeah, and what I found with pottery was, in the back of my head, I'm thinking to myself, I use my hands all the time. This should be an absolute doddle.
Yes,
but no, it's not. It's certainly not as easy as it looks. And I loved it, just molding that clay. And what I wanted to do was I wanted to see if I could create a bowl in the same sort of shape that I turn my bowls in. But I would obviously have to kind of feel my way up the sides of the bowl and actually spread the clay out and pull it up a little bit. And it was a really interesting sensation to actually feel that. Yeah, learning curve, humongous learning curve. And it was really interesting to feel the curve, appear between your fingers, because you don't hold the clay, you don't grab it, you don't really squeeze it, you push from the inside outwards. You don't hold it and squeeze it up like you would do almost like a tube of toothpaste. Yeah, it's really strange. So it was a fantastic experience. But the one thing that I was really keen to learn was what happens in the afternoon. And the same thing happened to me that happens with students all the time. Had lunch, got back to the potter's wheel, and we sat there and just virtually completely forgot everything that we'd learned in the morning. And because you've learned like 5 or 6 different techniques in the morning, you've had lunch, you've chilled out for a little bit, and then you go back, you forget everything, and then you just get tired. You just get incredibly tired all the time. And it was great fun. I've got a blog post coming next week. I'm just waiting to post it with the finished items.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So you've got a spare room now with a potter's wheel and what in it?
No, I not that my results were horrendous, but I won't be taking up pottery.
Fair enough. We've got Susie the Swiss wood turner and Gav Sadair Woodworks has joined us. And
Hello,
there's
Gav.
a question for you, Martin,
Mm.
from Ian Cook. He's got a full can of black lacquer, Hampshire sheen black lacquer, by the way.
Lovely.
And he doesn't know what to turn to use it.
Oh, turn a bottomless bowl. That doesn't mean a funnel. That's
Well,
I was thinking to myself,
I'll actually go and get one that I did, and I'll show you. In fact, I've got a couple of things that I could show you, that you could use. The 3 things that you can use the black lacquer on, just as things that I've done when I've been playing with it. The Wood Wizardry by Colin. Think of getting a texturing tool, but can't decide which one to go for: the Sorby Mini, the Crown, or the Simon Hope one. I've used all 3, and my preference is the Sorby, because its 3 wheels are really nice and sharp, and you can get some amazing patterns and shapes with it. They do. All of them take a little bit of getting used to, but I found the Sorby one easier to use than both the Crown and the Hope one.
Okay. Got
Right.
Gavin Doherty in. Or is it Doherty? I'm not so sure.
Right, sounds up to 400 grit.
Mr. G's Woodturning is in.
Nice and sneeze.
Shane
evening.
Hurst is in.
Good evening, everybody.
Hi, Shane.
Right.
Right,
So
Brian at Heart Woodturning's in.
Right, Brian, how you doing, Dad?
Brian, blimey, you're not
Hi,
drunk, Brian.
Not drunk yet.
Oh, he's
So-
probably left the group. Pete Twisted Trees is in as well.
Hi, Pete.
Oh dear.
So if you
Let's
go
do
onto
that.
Martin's website, you can download. Can you see them? No, let me zoom out a bit. There you go. That's better. You can download this intrinsic color collection chart, or blending wheel, should we say? So there's all the colors. Then what Martin's done is he's given us 6 different designs with the colors of his range for different color effects. So
Link
this
is in the chat.
there you go. Thank you, Martin.
Sumptuous night.
So this is my normal one, reds and yellows. But I want to go something unusual, what I hardly ever use. So I'm going to go for this one. I actually chose this one up this morning. So with this one, we need sky blue, black, plum, and midnight. So let's see if we can. Hang on, well, I don't like that tone.
No. It's a nice one. It's not the easiest. It's not the easiest one to blend together. So you fill your boots.
Right, okay.
The most difficult one on there is the Chirico.
Chirico, which one's that? Oh, that one.
Yeah.
Chirico.
Yeah, Chirico. That is quite tricky because you're trying to blend reds, blues, greens, and purples all together.
If you're not careful, you have a nasty brown there.
Yeah, so you do need to be. What do you mean nasty brown?
Right, so I'm going to try Sumptuous Night, I think.
Yeah, that's a nice one as well. It will be really, really dark. So I'm not entirely certain that's a piece of beech, Steve.
Are you not? That's what I had written on it.
No.
It
did it. It had beetroot. It's got beetroot on it. Well, I've drilled a hole in the middle
I'm just
of it.
looking at it.
What do you reckon?
It doesn't look particularly beachy to me. Can you get in a little bit closer? Sorry, I remembered. Yeah.
Is that any better?
It just looks too pale. It doesn't look sort of creamy enough to be beech.
Is it more like sycamore?
No. Sycamore, yeah.
Yeah, that does look much more sycamore-y, particularly with the greys in it.
Stick with me, Steve. You'll be right.
Somebody can't spell, Steve, when they wrote it down.
Oh, I give up. I buy wood from people, and then they write number letters. I just do it to confuse me, I think.
Yeah.
Can you zoom in a little bit, Steve? Or is that too much?
No, wrong way.
Wrong way.
Looks a bit mapley.
Yeah.
See, it does.
Yeah, I'm fairly certain that's not beech. It's not creamy enough. It's not sort of orangey enough.
Right, okay. Right, we've got a bit of wood on the lathe then.
Yeah. With
Just
a tenon on it.
Yeah.
Right, so go on then, Joe.
Right.
Sorry. I was just going to read out what Gavin said. He says, just been turning for 18 months and wanted to thank Martin for the videos in his channel. They've been really helpful. Steve has been great too. The sharpening one was good as I bought the same jig.
It's very kind, Gav. Thank you.
I thought I'd say that because it's probably one of the... Oh. Probably one of the longest sentences I've had to read.
Right,
And-
so go on, then, Joe.
Okay.
Sorry. Brian Altanera de Madeira. Brian with a Y. Hi Martin, we can't currently get Hampshire Sheen products over here. This is Spain.
Yeah.
Do you have any plans to use a distributor over here?
That's a very, very good question. I would love a distributor in Spain, but I'm not clear on how large the market is over there, and whether or not a distributor would take on a new product given or range of products given the current European economic climate. I can ship independently to Spain. I'm pretty sure we've got shipping rates for Spain at the woodturningshop.com. I'm pretty sure Spain is on there. If not, I'll do some investigating for you. So if you could drop me a line through the Woodturning Shop or try and place an order through the Woodturning Shop, then I can send everything over there for you through UPS. I can't guarantee that shipping prices are going to be particularly nice, but I can get it to you. But there might need to be you might need a fairly deep pocket as far as the shipping is concerned.
Yes.
Heather wants to know if there's a distributor in Canada.
Canada, yes, there is. There is. It's Rob Summerlin at woodsleySummercraft.ca. I'll just type the link in the chat for you.
And we've
Mark,
got
General Woodturner says, sorry, the broadcast is shocking. Well, that's because you're in Ireland, Mark.
And you're half drunk.
In a pub.
and he's in. I was just to say that he was in the chat, and also Paul Finley Woodturning Terms in the chat as well. In fact, we've got 3 of the 4 people that are in Ireland: Brian, Pete,
Mark.
and Mark.
No, the
in
other
the
one
chat.
has probably gone to bed, lazy toad. What's that?
He probably
What's
has.
the Yorkshire
Stuart
guess?
Ingruel is in as well.
I should.
He's on the island of Guernsey.
Yeah.
Is he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Spent my honeymoon there, Guernsey.
Yeah, it's lovely.
It
I
is
was
a beautiful place.
I was very, very, very privileged to be taken over to Guernsey by Stuart's Woodturning Club
Oh,
Brilliant.
on Guernsey.
fantastic.
That was a fantastic weekend.
Great.
Oh,
Right.
I'll tell you, I did it. Sorry, Steve.
No, go on. No, you're fine, mate. Carry on.
No, I was going to say I did a demo at Berkshire Woodturners on Wednesday night, and there was an accident en route, and time was ticking, and I thought I was going to be late, and I couldn't get hold of the chairman, so I posted a message up on Facebook saying, if there is anybody here from Berkshire Woodturners, can you please get your chairman to give me a ring on my mobile number? I'll get him to check his PMs. Anyway, I got there and I was on time. I was still half an hour early, thankfully. Anyway, I got there and the only person that saw it was one of their members, and he was on holiday in Canada.
Great.
Always the way. Right, so
Now
I've got
we've
a
got
question. I've got a question. Sorry, I've got a question, Martin. So, as the
Yeah.
colours are put here, is that the sequence you put them on, or not? It doesn't matter.
No. I just put them in that order because they look pretty.
Oh, okay, that's fair enough.
Now, Steve, you know I normally put black on first.
Yep.
And then sand it off.
Yep.
Don't.
Oh, okay.
That's
Don't,
confusing.
not-
We've got 3 other choices.
Yeah, not. I wouldn't with this one, to be fair, because looking at it, where you've got a little bit of the spalting on the grain there.
This bit here.
Yeah, and if you turn it round, there and there as
Yeah.
well.
Yep.
And there doesn't look to be any really noticeable figure in it.
Right.
Is there any ripple, any quilting or anything?
A little bit in there. Just a little bit there.
Okay.
A little bit there.
Right. Yes, I wouldn't
Right. Okay.
in that case, because you ideally you use the black to low light the figure. So you put the black on, then in the figure it soaks into the softer parts of the wood more. It does more than the harder parts. Then when you sand it back, you end up with the figure low lighted.
Yep.
Makes sense.
Yep.
Whereas if you've got a piece like that with very little figure on it, if you apply the black and sand it off, you're going to end up essentially with very, very dark end grain, and that's about it.
Right. Okay.
But where you already have some figure in there, which is quite dark, that in this instance will be your black background.
Right. Okay. Okay. I understand that. So we don't need black on this one then.
Yeah, keep it to hand because
Right, okay.
you might want to darken
Bits
something down a little bit.
Okay.
Oh, we've got an Archie. Archie Scott Ockhill Woodcraft has joined in.
Evening, Archie.
Even Archie.
So do I do the same as normal, light to dark?
Dark to light, Steve. Dark to light.
Dark to light. Okay. Dark to light then. So midnight first.
Yep.
And we're going to do it on just one part of the bowl.
Yeah. Now, where you've got the dark the dark patches already.
Yep.
Save the lighter colours for that.
Yeah, I was going to save the sky blue for that area there. So I'll do
Got
this
a
bit here, I think.
Frederick Rogan nose guard.
That's a bit of a run, mate.
Evening, Frederick.
I
Yeah.
know Frederick. Frederick's in Denmark.
Do excuse my pronunciation of your name, Frederick. There, but welcome. And there's a question going back. Somewhat. Let me just. Stephen the Wood Dude saying, "Is Nasty Brown the next new colour from Hampshire Sheen?"
Nasty.
There's always somebody, isn't there? That's
It's always Stephen.
Yeah, I can say it's normally Stephen as well.
I could do. Don't put too much on, Steve.
Okay.
But what I would do, I'll come back to Steve the Wood Dude in a minute. What I would do, Steve, is just put a couple of little, very short, sharp wipes on the opposite side of that.
Here.
Of the midnight, yeah.
Short, sharp wipes.
Yeah, just
Is that
wash.
Is that the technical term?
Yeah, I can't think of the real word. Did you put any more colour on it?
On what? No, that's just the midnight.
No. Yeah, try not to block it. So kind of spread it out a little bit, so it's a little bit more random.
okay.
Yeah, not too
Gary,
much. No, I mean just little.
Right, I'm not going no more. I'm not going no more.
That'll do. That'll do.
Gary Glass has joined us. Good evening, Gary.
Hi, Gary.
Now, apparently, the four of them all say hi, and they're half drunk
Glenn's going to
in
be
Ireland. Ah. Say no more.
Oh, that's the plum, is it? Yeah, that's plum.
Yeah.
Now that's a really nice colour, isn't it?
Glenn.
That is nice. Yeah, I wanted to
I like
call it.
plum.
When I was designing these colours, I wanted to call it aubergine, but I couldn't spell it, so I settled for plum.
Plum, yeah.
Fair enough.
But it's a good colour.
It is a good colour.
Not a lot of
Right.
people know when you
Steve?
paint
Yes.
oil paints.
Yes, mate.
Go on.
Sorry. Yeah. With the plum.
Yep.
Put a little bit next to the other part of the other end of the midnight blue. Just a little bit, because the more random you can put the colours, or the more apparently random the colours are, the less like a play school painting. Here's a blob of blue, and here's a blob of purple, and here's a blob of whatever. So the more you can kind of randomize it a little bit, the better this technique tends to look.
Right.
And don't forget, we need two coats rather.
Yeah, I'm going to just do that bit there, sky blue now. So give it a good check.
When I paint in oil colours, if I'm painting a woodland scene and it goes back into the distance, in through the trees, I always use plum. It's that
Yeah, it
beautiful.
looks lovely, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That's worth knowing.
Not aubergine.
Yeah. That's what you want to do, Joe. Light plum going to darker as it goes through the trees. Then you cover it with all the other paints you're going to use, the tree trunks and the leaves. The plum fades it back in.
So we'll go
Better
back
than
to
using a dark brown.
our midnight, which was here.
Todd's asking me when am I feeling better and when is my next live? Yes, I'm feeling better. I got over COVID as well. I've had that in the last week, but I'm feeling better. And that next live, I'm not too sure when it is. Pete's eager to carry on for another month.
You're a fibber. You're a fibber.
Pete's going to
I
kill
got my
you.
workshop in pieces at the moment. So as soon as I get the workshop back together, I will.
Matt Harbour, the process. Now, what Steve's doing here is a little bit different to what I would do normally and how I teach. What I would normally do is apply black to figured woods and then sand the black back off and then do this process. But because this piece of wood has virtually no sort of quilting in it, I've suggested that we don't go down that route. But if you go to the link that I posted earlier, hampshiresheen.com/colours, you can also download a free technique guide to my usual technique.
There's a question for Martin from Glyn. You know how this is going to go, don't you, Martin?
He's away again.
Is Hampshire Sheen shoe polish available in Tasmania?
Ah, right. I never actually released the what's the word I'm looking for? Shoe polish. I never actually sent my shoe polish to market, even though it's exceptionally good, even if I do say so myself, mainly because I don't know enough about the shoe polish market. So no, it's not available in Tasmania, but I do have some tins here. And if anybody visits the Woodturning shop and says, I love shoe polish, I'll give them a tin.
We got to talk in a Tasmanian voice.
Roy's the boy. Martin, are you saying Steve is doing it
Wrong.
incorrect? No. Steve is doing exactly as I'm asking him to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
Roy, troublemaker.
He didn't apply the black first, which is a good thing.
You got to watch out, Roy. He's a bit of a dodgy geezer.
Is he?
Yeah, he's a bit of a troublemaker.
Lives down the road from him as well.
Right. 2 coats.
That's 2 coats of each, is it?
Yep.
Okay. That's cool. Have you got a hot air gun to hand?
I have.
Cool.
Now, William Kenny's is saying that he had the pleasure of spending a couple of hours with Mark, Brian, Pete and Glyn yesterday afternoon.
Oh,
you poor thing.
Oh, was that Glyn, your Glyn, Joe?
Yeah.
Yes.
Our condolences, mate.
Yes. How couldn't you tell it was a question from Marglin?
Well, because it was about shoe polish in Tasmania, so I thought...
Glyn don't polish shoes in Tasmania.
Yeah, it was from Glyn Senior, no less.
You should have known, Martin, with a question like
Hello,
that.
Glyn.
Right, all dry.
Oh, dear.
Lovely. Right, Steve, what I'm going to ask you to do now is I'm going to ask you to grab some ruby.
Ruby.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you to grab a little bit of ruby.
Right.
The blue is more like peacock blue.
Don't tell Ruby that. She might like that.
Yeah. Isn't that like a turquoise colour that was the last one I put on?
Which one? No, this
Darker
is
purple.
sky blue I put on. Plum.
It's sky? Yeah.
And midnight blue.
Right. Where just at the top there, where you've got the sky blue blending into the plum.
Here.
Other side.
Here, yep.
No, round again.
There.
Keep going. No. Round a bit more.
There. That's it.
There. At the top.
Here.
No. Round a bit more.
Top of the rim.
Here.
No.
Here.
Back a bit. The other way round.
That's sky
Clockwise.
blue there. That's sky blue there.
No, I said midnight
There.
blue.
Oh, did you? Oh, sorry, I thought you said sky blue. Yeah, I've got it.
Yes, right.
This is turning out to be hard work. Is this?
Right, okay. Get a little bit of the ruby on that towel.
Yeah.
And just blend that ruby across between the plum and the midnight blue.
Not too much, just a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit, and we'll just see how that looks.
We've got Stephen Gordon and Aston from My Wanna Mate Stuff have joined us. And there's a question from Ruby, from Martin. when are your next colour stroke finish classes?
Good question, Ruby. I don't know. Probably. Well, no, I don't know. I was about to say there'll be some time over the summer, but the summer is halfway through, and for the rest of the summer, I am absolutely chock-a-block. So I dare say I will be doing some probably in the autumn.
No.
Just turn it around a bit for me, Steve.
Which way? That way?
Yeah, and then take your shadow. Yeah, that looks good. I like that. Now there is a little bit of figure there, isn't there?
Yeah, just in there. Yeah, just a little bit.
No, just turn it around slowly. There, it's at 12 o'clock.
Here.
Looks like fingers.
About halfway down.
That could be his fingers.
Yeah.
What, here?
No,
Yeah.
no,
You're seeing
right
something
on 12 o'clock. Have a
You're
look on your monitor, Steve. There looks like there's two dark lines
Oh, I see.
running.
Here, you mean?
Yeah,
Yeah, I can see those, yeah.
yeah. Right, grab a little bit of 400 paper.
400.
Yeah,
Yep, got it.
that's it. Start the lathe and take the whole lot off. No, I'm kidding.
I was gonna swear then.
No, right. That area there, I think, is where the original dark bits were.
Right.
Is that right?
Yeah, it looks
So
like
where you've got those two little tendrils coming down.
tendrils. You're giving me posh words I don't know what mean now, Martin.
The finger marks.
The two little bits that appear to be running down.
Here, these bits here.
Yeah, but just where the two bits are running down towards the tenon.
Centre. Right. Okay. You want me to just rub them out gently?
Yeah, just really, really gently. Not too hard. What we want to do is just take a little bit of the colour off the surface, so that sanding there should have no hard edges at all. That's it. Now join them up. Somebody's just saying painting by numbers, but we're also joining the dots.
Enough?
Yeah, looks like there might be a little bit too much taken off there, actually, Steve. So go with the sky blue.
Sky blue. I'll spoil myself. I'll get another bit of tissue.
You know, I'm still going through 180 rolls of kitchen towel a year.
It would surprise me. Right, just in that area.
Yeah, but blend it across the plum as well. That's it, don't be shy, because they're all kind of the same. So that should sort of highlight that area a little bit. And just mix the combination up a touch.
There's like a dark line in there.
Turn it around a bit. Oh no, that's right on a highlight. I can't see that. Oh no, that looks all right, because the that dark patch that was already there was fairly solid.
Yeah. The thing is, when you put these colours on, you don't really see the proper effect until you sand and seal it, do you?
No, I mean, normally what I would do is I'd put a couple of coats of oil on first, but you know, we don't have 24 hours to let it dry properly.
No, we don't.
Is that what you would suggest?
It's an optional thing. You know, when you put oil on wood, it pops the grain and it makes colours look fantastic. That's what I would normally do. Put an oil on first, let it cure, then put my sealer and my finishes on. But we obviously don't have 24 hours to wait. But you know, a nice decent amount of sanding sealer is going to do the same job. It's going to pop the grain nicely, make those colours richer, and it'll also help to blend them as well.
Okay. We've got Tom
Tango Parker's just joined us. Hello, Tom.
Oh, I'll get
told-
At last.
This is the first time I've been in the workshop all
Mark
week.
Pritchard would like to know, Martin, when you're going to do the same for Mike Walt.
I think if I was to ever earworm Mike Walt, we would just be rude to each other the entire
Yeah.
time.
Right, so sand and sealer, wipe on sand and sealer. Turn the tissue around to the smooth sides on the outside. It would be funny though.
It would. I spoke to Mike the other day now he's got his new eyes, and he's back driving his buses again. I think that's a good idea. We could also try and do another one of those simul turns that Mike and I did for charity a couple of years ago.
Very good. And it makes money for people, doesn't it? So yeah.
Yeah, but although we might keep it this time.
Yeah. Did you talk to charity? How did you get on with your field day?
The cricket day.
Yeah.
The cricket day apparently was absolutely brilliant. I don't remember much after lunch. Yeah, I don't remember a great deal after lunch, but it was fantastic. We haven't had the final figure for how much we've raised, but I'm thinking with the number of people that were there, I'm thinking somewhere around £8,000 or £9,000.
Wow, that's
Brilliant.
good.
Well
Absolutely.
done, you.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
Well done,
that's
mate.
good.
Well done.
Yeah, it was.
It's
It was
always-
a fantastic day.
It's always
It did
nice.
take.
Go on, sorry.
Oh, the day is so good. It starts at about 6:30 in the morning because we all have to go down and put up gazebos and all sorts of stuff. The cricket starts at 10 a.m. and then from about 10 a.m. till the whole day finishes after 10 cricket matches and stuff that I commentate on through various states of sobriety and lack of knowledge of cricket. The day finishes about 7 o'clock and I don't get a break.
Long day then.
It is a very long day, and it took me till Tuesday to get over it.
Wow. I think it's always nice to help other people.
It is.
Sorry,
It is. You need it. I think you need more sealer on there.
Yeah.
Terry's got the barmaid to.
Ruth crept in to get me another drink, bless her.
That's good on her, isn't it? She's a good egg.
She's good to you.
Do you want anything more, darling? She said. Yeah, just under the glass.
Yeah. So you can see there that when
That's
as
lovely.
Steve's, it is, yeah. Now
It is,
as
isn't
Steve's put that sanding sealer on there, it's helped blend the colours a little bit more, but it's also made the colour and the grain pop. It's much more vibrant, much richer now. So sanding sealer is really, really important. Oh, that's soaked in a lot on the end grain there, Steve, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's really. I'm just going to
Yeah.
Scotch Brite it and I'll give it another coat.
Yeah, that needs more sealer.
You can see there is some figure in that, though.
There is a little bit.
Just by the tenon as it on two sides as it moves out.
Yeah.
You mean in my bit of beach?
No. Don't try and put more colour on.
No. I mean in the beach bit of wood.
Yeah.
Do you reckon that's not beach?
In the maple.
I don't see. Looking at it now, I'm not sure, but it's a very pale, very, very pale piece of beech.
Well, it don't matter what it is.
But
It's a piece.
I
Piece
still
of
think
wood.
it's more mapley or sycamore or balamory.
Balamory. It's about right.
Sorry, that's a terrible joke.
Starting to take longer to soak in now.
Good. Just let it dry off. Because one thing that you can do that's very easy to do is put too much sealer on, and then when you think it's dry, it's surface dry, but actually the undercoats that you've put on haven't quite dried off properly. So then when you put your final finish over the top and you buff it up, the solvents from the sealer leak through and dissolve your finish.
Wait, just asking, do you recommend cellulose sanding sealer or shellac?
I would recommend a cellulose sanding sealer, not just because I make it, but it will last longer in the bottle than shellac. Shellac tends to go off after a few months, whereas cellulose sanding sealer just tends to get a little bit thicker.
Benjamin says it's looking good, Steve. Looks like a galaxy. Just don't add a black hole. In brackets, funnel.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ben, for that. Ben. Nothing like a bit of support from your followers.
He's got a 6 mil 10 mil 10 on it, so he's not going to do that.
O'Brien says, okay, I'm back. Just had a lovely chicken in a box with chips with some liquid refreshment. Can we guess what that could be?
Right, give that another coat of sand and sealer, see how that comes out.
And then Mark says, Brian thinks he had chicken. We're all not so sure. Lol.
Did it neigh?
Probably a really local rat or something.
Oh.
Now, it's really important that you get the sealer on nice and evenly, because I'm sure most people here would have turned a bowl and applied a finish, and then you've ended up with 2 shiny bits and 2 dull bits, and that's where the end grain of the bowl has basically just sucked in the finish, so which gives you shiny sides and dull end grain. So it's very important that we get the sealer, or we get enough sealer on in order to create an even surface over the piece that we can put our finishes on. Ward Wilson, what do you think of the SK114? I love it so much I bought it twice.
There you go.
I have 2.
Hard returning, take note. We've all got 2 now.
Yep.
Nearly all got 2.
Right,
Yeah,
I'm
fantastic chuck.
going to give it one more coat and we'll see what happens.
But in the interest of fairness, I do also have 2 supernovas. Oh, sorry, 3 supernovas.
I think Mark chucks are good as well, aren't they?
Yeah, they are here at the Woodturning shop. I think we use Axminster, Nova, Vic Mark, and One Way.
Mark's saying he's got 3. Ooh, that means you could give one to Brian.
Yeah, Mark, just a question, have all 4 of you booked your tickets to Canada yet?
Terry Bray.
Well, that's what you said you were doing last night, booking tickets to Canada. 4 of them.
We're not mentioning Canada.
Just stirring up. You just keep stirring, Terry.
Sorry. Okay, just checking.
Ooh, Ben. To be honest, you would eat deep fried rat if it was covered in the appropriate 11 herbs and spices. No way.
Well, you eat McDonald's every week, not the same? Okay.
Wedgwood Works is saying he's got 2 Nova G3s. They are also excellent chucks, the Nova G3.
Right.
Am I ticking all the right political boxes?
You are.
You are.
I had
They are nice.
when I started when I started teaching a few years ago, I had 4 Nova Comets, and they each had a G3 on it, and they are brilliant.
Excellent.
And the only thing that frustrates me with Nova chucks is, or particularly the Supernova chuck, is that you've got to turn the keys the opposite direction.
The new ones are the right way now, aren't they?
Are they? Oh,
yeah,
I believe
the new ones are the right way now.
Good.
Because a lot of people used to moan about exactly the same.
I've had a few pieces come off as I've put a piece. I've taken it from one piece, and I've been using one chuck and then started using the other one, and I've got a nice bowl that's actually mounted in the chuck, and I go, right, I'm just going to check to see how tight it is. Forget it's on a Nova chuck, I undo it and the piece has fallen out.
Ooh. Frustrating.
That's one thing. That's one word you could use.
I remember watching a video when I think it was after Maker Central, when you sold when you sold a bowl and you had to refinish it. You had to refinish it about 3 times because you dropped it the first time.
I did. Yeah. That's quite a well watched video of mine on YouTube.
Yeah, it is. Right, so let's get some
3
finish.
days lacquering. 3 days of lacquering, and I drop it on the lathe bed. Oh, there were some words that I edited out then.
Beep, 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 beep.
Callum Peatrey's just joined us. So Callum,
Hi, Callum.
Good,
How you doing?
good evening, Callum.
Evening, Callum.
So, Hampshire sheen high gloss wax over the top of this.
You could lacquer it, but
We ain't got that
I
time.
wouldn't.
that's days, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's worth it, Steve.
It is, but lacquering is one of those things that it's not something you can really do half a job on. If you spray 2 coats of lacquer on, it's going to look okay, but it's not going to look great. You know, if you're going to do lacquering, I think you're best off doing it properly and spending a good few hours to build those coats of lacquer up nice and thick, and then using products like Yorkshire Grit to hone that surface down to something that's glass-like, basically. And then you have.
You might spend the time.
Could you put the link up, Martin? Which link was that again? Roy wants you to put the link.
The link for what?
Roy?
You might spend hours and days doing the lacquering, but the finish is so much better.
It is.
Right, so this is the first coat.
I think it's probably for the lacquer video that I dropped.
All right, the video, yeah, it is.
Oh.
Ruby saying she has Vic Marks, Nova and Record Power, and she likes them all.
Well done, Ruby. True professional.
Diplomatic.
Everything's good.
Yeah, very political, Ruby. Bang on.
Paul Kavanagh's joined us.
Hi, Paul.
Hey, Paul. Hi, Paul. Paul's
Right.
in Northern
Hey,
Ireland.
Paul.
You and Paul.
So give us another coat.
Right,
Light coats. Many light coats.
Matt is agreeing. He has some of his pieces
Steve
have upwards of
put down the
14
spoon.
coats of lacquer on them.
I usually end up using nearly a can on a decent sized piece.
Oh yeah. It's quite. I'll quite often put 1.5 coats on a large piece. Not coats, cans.
Cans.
How much is it a can?
Oh, I don't know.
Don't ask questions.
Using it properly.
I can't remember.
It's got to be a tenner a
What
can.
was this?
1050, I think.
Oh, something like
500
that.
mil.
Yeah.
Right, who was asking for the video link?
Roy.
Roy's the boy.
Roy, here you go. A much younger, thinner me as well.
So it was quite a while ago. 2019 that would have been, wouldn't it? Something like that.
With hair, Martin?
Yeah, with hair. Well, a little bit more than I've got now. I
All right,
think
so
it might
that's-
even have been 2018, actually, Steve.
Oh, right. I know it was just after Maker Central. Leave me on that.
Yeah, I've been twice.
Will you be doing Harrogate this year, Martin?
Yes, we will be at Harrogate on stand 128 and 129.
Ben Green would like to know the difference between microcrystalline and high gloss.
About £2.50, Brian.
Boom, boom.
Now the difference between the gloss finishing wax and the microcrystalline is the microcrystalline wax is just microcrystalline wax, which is, I think, best used as an overcoat, although it will put on a nice surface finish by itself. And the gloss finishing wax is a combination of canuba wax and microcrystalline wax.
Right, so that's had 2 coats of high gloss.
Now, Malcolm Douglas is mentioning Terry from Chestnut said you should put no more than 3 coats of lacquer on, as they will not bond together if too thick. Comments?
Yeah. We'll leave that there, shall we?
Yep.
Dr. Bob.
No,
Dr. Bob.
I'm happy to comment on that. If that's what Terry recommends for his lacquers, then that's absolutely fine. I've used all of their lacquers and they're very good. They do the job. But I have found with the lacquers that I make, I can put up 16, 20 coats. But the thing is, the thing with finishing with any products from any manufacturers is to take your time. You know, what you need to remember is that the surface you leave on a piece is the surface that's going to be there forever. So if it's not as good as you can possibly make it, so if you rush it, if you leave a fault in it or something like that, that is going to be obvious. So, you know, my lacquering technique is 14, 16, 20 coats, but I'll put those on over a period of 3 days. And each one I make sure is completely dry, or each day I make sure that those coats are as completely dry as possible. Lightly sand back between every 2 coats. So every coat of lacquer that goes on has the best possible chance of keying to the one that's underneath. And I've got pieces in here in the workshop, literally right next to me, in the retail shop here that are fiddled with, oh, I've got to be careful what I say, that have been fiddled with by customers and people that have come to visit, and they are absolutely perfectly good. So take your time with it, and you know, you can push finishing products to an nth degree that a manufacturer may not necessarily recommend.
When I did the sink,
you do have to start with an absolutely perfect finish on the timber.
Yeah,
absolutely. It might take me. Obviously, your sanding's got to be bang on, and your colouring's got to be bang on, but then your actual surface that the first coat of lacquer keys to has also got to be bang on. You know, so if it takes you an hour or even 2 hours to seal a piece properly, spend that time on it.
yeah, that's what we was taught when we used to do cars. If the base coat ain't no good, if the surface is going on to ain't no good, you're going to see every little blemish.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When I did the sink, I did 14 coats on that, and I was doing 2 coats in the morning before I went to work, with the same way that you were saying, Martin. Do a coat, leave it dry, then buff it off or scuff it up.
Yeah.
And then I'd leave it all day while I was at work, then come and do 2 more coats at night. And like I
Yeah.
said, that took me about 5 days to put all my coats on that.
Yeah, and I did one particular day last summer. I pushed my clear lacquer to the absolute limit. I did 16 coats in one day, and that was really pushing it. I had the lathe running really, really slowly, and I was actually drying or partially drying each coat with a hot air gun.
Did you find it start to sag, or was it all right?
No, it was fine. I was very worried switching the lathe off in the evening, but I came back to it the next day and it was absolutely bang on. Dominic, is the Hampshire Sheen starter set a good place to start? Yes, Dominic, I would definitely say it is, because it gives you, I can't remember what it gives you. What does it give you? It gives you the gloss finishing wax, the microcrystalline, I think, the Danish finishing oil, and the sanding sealer. So yes, that will basically give you everything you need to get started. Oh, Steve's frozen there. There he goes.
Am I?
No, you're right.
No. You just freeze a little bit every so often.
Skype, I think.
I'm just observing Steve's
Technique
here.
Dodgy technique. There's a lump in there. It's a bit chattery as that goes around.
Yeah, Steve, I would be tempted to bring my tool rest up a little bit. Paul Kavanagh, am I releasing the citrus oil as a car fragrance? You know what? That would be lovely, wouldn't it?
Oh, it's lovely. I leave my tin open every now and again just to smell the workshop out.
Now, here's an interesting thing. You know, when I turn, I mean, 99% of the bowls and stuff that I turn, I always turn them with a tenon. but I never measure the depth. I never measure the depth of a bowl when I'm turning with a tenon, purely because the part of the idea is you turn with the walls being parallel, and if your inside wall is parallel to your outside wall, you're never going to go through the bottom.
Your rim will determine the thickness by what you've done all the way through.
The rim doesn't necessarily have to, because if you look at what Steve's doing here, that wall on the inside is steeper than the outside.
Yeah.
So if Steve were to keep the bevel parallel to the outside wall from the start, and make sure that the cut is as parallel as he can make it all the way down, he wouldn't have to worry about the depth. You see, he's going, that bevel's pointing almost straight towards the chuck there.
Side.
Yeah. And of course, Steve here's turning quite a shallow bowl. There's not an enormous curve on the outside there. And if you're turning with parallel walls, then it actually makes the hollowing process a little bit easier, because you don't have to lean quite so far over the lathe to get the cut started.
Oh, it's not bad for an old boy.
Mark, the gentleman Woodturning, just said there's 4 of us, all looking at Steve's technique and thinking something different. That's because you've been with Glenn Lucas for a week, turning wet bowls. You wait to get back to the dry stuff. And soon you'll be over to Canada.
The Klondike Craftsman is asking about an entire line of Hampshire Sheen car products. Perhaps in the future, Klondike, but I've still got some personal grooming products to sell.
That everybody thought was a joke.
Yeah, but it's not. No, I tell you what, I use that moisturizer every day, and I use the shower gel or the body wash every day. And it's great stuff. I don't use the beard oil because I don't have a beard.
Is it selling, Martin?
No, because I think people still think it's a joke, but it's not. What I want to, I want wood-turners in the UK to think, I want to smell like wood. Yeah. And so they buy this. It's really good. It's great on your hands. It's great on your hands. It's got sandalwood in it, and some other things. And it's a really nice smell.
Tell you what, all you have to do really is advertise it to women. You won't have it lined the workshop long. They'll be buying it.
When I watched the video, I was thinking, this is definitely a hoax. Definitely.
Definitely not.
No, I was totally.
So somebody left a comment that says those labels, top work, 100% effort went into this. No, it's not a joke. Wedge Woodworks, no, there's not a beard balm, but there is a beard oil. Harvey, do I ship to the US? Most of the products go over to the US, but the face cream, the what are they called? Grooming products don't, mainly because I don't understand your regulations and stuff about shipping over personal grooming products.
Well, Dominic says ordered, so I'll tell you he's ordered something. Oh, Dominic.
Oh, it'll be the starter kit, won't it?
Yeah.
Maybe. Thank you, Dominic. I can't. I'll check the email on the. I'm going to SWAT in Texas next month, and I might be able to squeeze a few pots or bottles of the beard oil and stuff into my luggage if I'm really careful. So if anybody wants some, I'll be in Waco for SWAT, but I'll be in Dallas 22nd to the 25th or 26th. of August. Dominic, thank you for your order there, sir.
Stuart saying I'm bewildered. Or of you YouTubers, I hate turning with an audience, even at my club. I always seem to stuff it up when someone is watching.
Got a bit of breakout. Brother,
Don't be afraid, Stuart. Just enjoy yourself, as I answer.
I gotta put something in there, I think.
I know Stuart relatively well, Terry, and I know why he's I know why he's scared. Sorry, Stuart, I'm teasing.
Shouldn't be scared. Should never be scared of anything.
No, never be scared.
What have you done
Just
there,
enjoy
Steve?
yourself.
There's a little bit just broke out of there. So I've got two choices. I've either got to take that down further.
How deep is it?
What, my love, Terry?
No, well, yeah, of course.
Shit.
If it's only less than a millimeter, just turn it off.
There's a couple. I reckon
Yeah,
it's
work.
about 3 mil deep. So I'll just have to turn
Oh.
off. Let it dry, and I'll just turn off a little bit. Bottoms.
Ian
What
Cook
you
with
get-
like a starter grooming kit.
Sorry, man.
What are you going to do to the rim there, Steve?
Well, I hadn't
Simple
thought that far
and
ahead.
gently.
I was going to try and get rid of that to start with. I was going to put like a slight that sort of feathered into the bowl a little bit. Not a great deal, or even a little curve in it.
Uh-huh.
Just to
Good,
give
as
it.
long as it's not flat.
No, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that, man, because I know you don't like them.
It's not that I don't like them. It's just there are other things you can do that that can make a nice bowl even nicer.
Just get rid of that bit first, and we'll see what we can do. That's nearly out. As long as that bit don't break out. It's a little tiny crack in that.
Benjamin's just or Jamin. I'm not entirely certain how to pronounce that. Sorry, Ben.
Just call him
Says it
troublemaker.
definitely looks like beach now, and you're right, Ben. It does. It looks more like beach now than the outside.
So I was right. Woo!
Well, you weren't. You read it on the back.
Well, hang on, Terry. Give credit where credit's due. I could read.
Beach, B-E-A-C-H, I know. Heather's saying turns too slow to do a live video. But you could turn a video, Heather, and then put it up. Edit it. Roll to see. Lewis is saying that his technique is
Every
it's the
time.
technology to do lives that escapes him. But when the lads come for resin lessons, he'll have help. Of course, the four of them, the four musketeers, are off to Canada to turn resin with Lewis.
Stop keeping it going now.
They booked it, apparently. Mark told us.
No, they won't have booked
He
it.
said in the chat he's booked it.
Yeah, I don't care whether he said that or not. Stop winding me up.
Not winding you up, are they, Jane?
Yeah.
Is that a quarter-inch bowl gouge, Steve?
No, it says. Yes, a bowl gouge, yeah.
A quarter-inch.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, nice.
Nice bowl.
I like a quarter-inch bowl gouge.
I don't use it as much as I should, really.
You can tell that by the length of it.
I know. I had it for my birthday. My lovely wife bought it for me for my birthday.
Bless her.
She's the best wife I've ever had.
She's the only wife you've
It's
ever
the only
had.
one
Ian Cook's asking what you guys recommend for CA glue.
CA glue. Well, there's several different brands on the market, but what you can use is
most of them work.
Starbond. There's several on the market, so I'm not going to go no further than that because that little tiny bit there keeps chipping out. So at the moment, I've got it good. So I'm just going to sand that. I'm going to power sand that. because I'm going to cheat.
Yeah, it's got a nice figure in the bottom of that bowl, on the inside.
You're going to sand those ridges out, Steve.
Yeah, I am.
60 grit.
I've got a house brick. I'm just trying to get a bit of grain off of it.
I like what you've done to the rim there.
Just a little dish, a little bit of a lip on it. I could
Yeah,
take them.
I
I could
like
try
that.
and get rid of those with a 1/4 inch bowl gouge, I suppose. Be semi-professional, hey.
To be honest with you, a professional would sand that.
Stop, then you're going to get cash.
It's generally hobby turners that try to get everything perfect just with the tool, whereas professionals would just go, you know what, I'll sand it.
Yeah, I think I'm going to, because if not, it's going to end up being worse. So let's just sand that up, turn the extraction on.
It's amazing how none of Steve's tools make any noise at all. I wonder where he gets them from.
Oh,
It's
special.
the noise cancelling microphone.
Yeah.
But you use a sound mixer, didn't you, Martin? So you can mix the sounds, so you can get some tool sounds and lathe sounds and some.
I do a little bit, yeah, but there's a little bit of noise cancelling on the software I use, and a little bit more because I use Restream when I do my YouTube live stuff, and they've got a little bit of noise cancelling, and I try and keep a little bit of tool noise going.
Because when you're doing things like this, people want to hear people talk, don't they? They don't want to hear noise all the time from the tools.
Although, yeah, put my teeth in. What I find with the video, certainly with the videos that I produce, I put in some music and what have you, and there's a little bit of tool noise, but every so often I get a comment that says, "Don't put in any music. I want to hear the tools."
Yeah, I get
It's
the odd
like-
one of those. Yeah, I get one.
Yeah, it's like, okay.
And then you get some people who go, "Cool, that noise was atrocious. All that noise going on in the background."
Yeah, so I don't bother replying to those now. Now the occasional person might say, I don't like your music, and then I'll put up an advert that says "Wanted sound engineer to work for free."
So if you're doing a video, you could mix the sound and have a microphone near the tools. And then you could mix the sound between you talking and the tool cutting.
Yeah, you could.
That's all, as long as you get the sound to key in at the same time as what the movement is.
Yeah, it is.
A lot of work.
It is a lot of work. I mean, I generally record on the fly now using the Stream Deck like Steve's doing to change cameras. So I can record a video and do the basic editing on the fly. And then to add a separate audio track to that would just be a nightmare. And although I don't produce as many videos as I used to because woodturning is now my day job, I need to concentrate on earning some money because YouTube doesn't pay. YouTube doesn't pay a huge amount of money. It
Does
pays
it
enough.
retire, Martin? I'm retired, you see, I don't have to worry.
Yeah, it pays me enough each month to keep my interest in it, but it's not paying me enough to say, I want to produce a video a week. It's paying me enough to say, you know what, I'll put a video out in a couple of weeks' time because I can see that I've got no teaching, I've got no demos coming up or whatever. So that's why there aren't that many videos from me because of course I am running 3 turning businesses now. So
3? Blimey.
Well, yeah, I've got Hampshire Sheen, the wood turning shop, plus my own wood turning side of things, which does demonstrations and what have you.
And you run the 360 club, don't you?
Oh yeah, and I run
So,
wood
yeah,
turning
it's-
360.
So 4 clubs. Busy man.
Although wood turning 360 is and M Saban-Smith wood turning, they're both parts of Hampshire Sheen. They each have their own amount of admin that needs to be done.
Thanks, Ben. Why doesn't the audio filtering work with just singing then?
Oh,
It never does.
Ben.
The microphone breaks, Ben.
I'm looking forward to meeting Ben at Harrogate.
Mark Pritchard's got to go. Bye-bye, Mark. See you soon.
Bye, Mark.
Thanks for
See you later,
calling
Mark.
in.
Thanks for coming in,
Bye
mate.
for now.
So last grit, 400 grit.
I'm just going to run and get another bottle of water.
All right, mate.
Oh, and while I'm there, I'll also get... Who was asking about the black lacquer and they're not sure what to do with it? Does anybody remember?
Ian Cook, wasn't
That's Stuart.
In-
Or Ian. Ian it was.
Is Ian still here?
think so.
You still there, Ian? Give us a sign. Because there's no point in getting it if you're not here, Ian.
I've got to walk past it, but
Yeah,
I don't want
just
to have.
get it anyway.
I don't want to have to dust it.
it?
Ian's still here and he says, yeah.
Okay, good. Right, back in a minute.
Good man. Stay fixed to the screen, Ian.
So there is a bit of a crack in there. Look at that. Look.
Yeah, that suddenly appeared, doesn't it?
Was it damp? Was it drying out? Was it?
Well, apparently it was 15% dry. I might just see if I can stick a little bit of glue in it, a little bit of brown in it, and just push it up and.
It's 4 minutes past 9.
Yeah, plenty of time.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Feeding you again? No, I'm not feeding you again.
5 times today.
Back for more.
Sorry, that's the cat, not my wife.
Oh, my.
Has no one got any difficult questions, says Brian. Can't even think at this moment in time.
Brian,
Right.
why don't you ask a difficult question?
Brian doesn't know any difficult questions.
Yeah,
All
but
he
I
knows is
thought they
it
might think of one.
Doombar? Is it Doombar, Guinness, or Tennants? That's all he knows. At this moment in time. Most difficult question Brian got to ask at this moment in time is another drink, Ben? Oh, Joe, Stuart's just chatting to Ben up. Ben, I think it's because Joe's singing doesn't really register his sound. It's more of a transcendental emotional experience. Well done, Stuart. Man afternoon, or you're on the list.
Well, I've never heard of it described as that kind of experience before.
What did you say to Brian's question about asking difficult questions? Sure, Brian. How many have you had to drink tonight? That's a difficult question for Brian.
Yes.
2. Or is it 3? How many fingers can I see on my hand?
Why have I
It
got
says, yeah, what Stuart said.
why have I got an extra finger?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's looking nice.
nearly there.
That's right, Martin. Carry on. You won't finish till you get back. Any other questions, people? Don't forget, if you like what you see, hit the thumbs up for Stephen.
Yeah.
He's doing it for you.
Right, final one. Back on the final one.
Ian's actually explaining that the black lacquer came about after Martin's finishing course back in October, and he lifted the wrong can in the store.
Ah.
Okay.
Lifted as in took the wrong one to the tail, or just lifted it?
Just lifted it.
Yeah.
No
bill's
way.
The bill's in the post, Ian.
Pete says the Wi-Fi is shocking. He's going back to the beer. I don't blame you. It's your last evening.
Lewis the Klondike Krafts was asking Martin, have you turned resin? Sorry if it was asked before. Work makes it a bit.
No, I try not to turn resin as I have some concerns over the amount of microplastics resin work puts into the atmosphere.
Fair enough.
I was hoping nobody was going to ask that.
Lewis turns a lot of resin, and Mark says he's killing turtles. So you know.
Yeah, I emailed 2 very large resin manufacturers to only last weekend. I emailed 2 very large resin manufacturers to ask them about the size of their dust particles and whether they had any information about their particular microplastics in the atmosphere, and they both came back to me, but neither of them had any data to share.
It's interesting.
So, Lewis, if you could enlighten us on if you know any information about the microplastics in the atmosphere, would be interesting.
And
Ian
yes,
Cooks is up the jumper.
Ooh,
although you know you can use dust extraction and what have you, absolutely fine, which is what everybody should be using anyway. You know, dust extraction doesn't take away all of those tiny little dust particles, and then when you empty the extractor bag, more are going to be released, and then what happens when you put that bag in the trash? If it goes to landfill, then the chances are that bag is going to be broken. So yeah, and it's not it's not really a debate I want to get into, but
No.
That's the reason why I don't turn resin. I have issues with microplastics in the atmosphere.
Lewis says he doesn't have any data on that either. Glenn wants to know if you're using grit. Steve.
I don't know, Glenn. I don't know.
I'm surprised he's still awake. Brian's asking the question, mate. He's probably not still awake.
I will use a little bit just so Glenn, Joe can sing or howl or whatever you want to call it.
Bob.
I'm not going to be very good this evening because I'm full of cold.
Question from Dr. Bob Martin.
I'll be better
says, how is your veterans program going? I have had to pause during COVID, except one-to-one online.
That's a very interesting question, Dr. Bob. And about 4 years ago, actually, I very quietly knocked it on the head because a police force was put me down very rudely and said, no, we although we really love the idea of what you want to do for people suffering with PTSD, if you can't offer it to the entire force, not just those that are suffering, then we won't be taking you up on your offer. And at which point I thought, you know what, stuff it. I'm just not going to bother, because the amount of red tape, bureaucracy, and all of the other crap and politics that goes with it, I thought, you know what, I'm just going to earn my living. So it never went any further than that, Dr. Bob, which is a shame. I still teach people that suffer from various mental health issues, but not under a particular banner of come and do this if you're suffering. It's a shame, but unfortunately, red tape and bureaucracy wore me down.
Yeah,
makes you wonder why you bother sometimes, doesn't
it?
Yeah, absolutely.
You try and help people, and you're just shot down all the time. It's not that you're getting anything out of it. You're trying to help people, but you still got issues.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go on then,
It's a
Joe.
shame.
Do your thing.
It's going to be terrible.
La 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 la.
Hands that feel pity can be soft as your face.
That's a
With
song,
light
Martin.
brown, Yorkshire gritty.
All the dogs in the street now are running for the cover.
Look at Martin's face.
Yeah. You can see why the chat loves it.
I'm sorry. What's just happened?
Joe's just done a masterpiece.
Joe just sings the gritty song.
Oh,
Exactly.
You never heard the gritty song before, Martin?
no.
You'll be scarred for life, mate. Scarred for
Thank
life.
goodness for that. You won't
I'm
want to hear
glad
it
I've
again.
I'm glad I have. And how often do you sing that, Joe?
Every
Too
time
often.
somebody uses Yorkshire Grit when she's
yeah.
on there.
Oh, okay.
13,000 times a day.
Do you not sing it to Glyn in the
Shower.
unit in the shower?
If somebody's using grit and we've got the computer on, which we do have, and they're using grit, I sing at the unit while we're doing grit. Yes, so he gets it multiple times.
Oh,
And as you can understand, he's really grateful for it.
Yes.
It usually knocks the chat down in the audience by about 50 each go. Takes
So
a
we
while to
have
build back up.
So we have Tim from TF Turning
Hi, Tim.
and Lionel, Natalia
Hello,
DeLeo joined us. And Benjamin says, would you get a similar issue with sanding lacquer? I think that's going
Same
back
as the resin, I think. With the dust.
Like what?
just going into the
Particles.
air, I think.
Atmosphere.
Yeah. Yes, I expect so.
But turning it is a lot more than sanding some lacquer.
Thanks, Jennifer.
Yes, I mean that's a very good point. But you know, when you're doing, I mean, you know, yes, there are going to be, you know, some microplastics going into the atmosphere because when you're applying lacquer, you are barely touching the surface. When you're sanding it back between coats, the number or the amount of microplastics going into the atmosphere is far less than when you are cutting or sanding resins down as if it's wood.
Okay. Stuart says, you've outdone yourself, Joe. Sounded like a cross between a rusty gate and a bouncing Jaguar.
It was
horrendous.
It was quite a treat to hear, Joe. It was
you creep! You creep! Jeez!
Interesting is probably the word.
Rememberable, I'd call it.
Oh, Roy says he's up in Yorkshire till Monday. Oh, where are you going to be, Roy?
Yorkshire Grit, he says.
Did Joe sing? Wondered why our Wi-Fi had crashed. Thanks, Mark. Ian Cook says, I reckon most folks sing the gritty song when using it.
Dr. Bob, that's brilliant.
460s very well done, mate.
Yeah, that's really, really good.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
The vets need it. They really do need it. They don't get any other support.
They do.
Oh.
Right.
Mark says, I had to turn the volume down. There's a wake going on. I figured they'd suffered enough today.
Might wake them up.
Right,
Roy
just
says
got
Sheffield.
What's the time?
Yeah, well, where they've gone, there's like a corner shop, the pub, and a funeral directors, as well as where Glenn Lucas's workshop
It's
is.
looking good, Steve.
That's really nice.
That's really nice, Steve.
I just need to try and get this off now.
Take the tenon off.
Take the tenon off.
Yeah.
Just to please Hodgepodge.
You'll keep Beckett.
Stuart.
Oh my goodness. You're on the list, Stuart.
Stuart, that's That's quite a comment.
Just sang and my dog was so stout she gave birth. She wasn't even pregnant.
Oh dear. Hopefully this is the right size, and I ain't got to take the blooming tongs on this.
You're posh. Not using a jam jug then.
No,
Right.
no, using.
Vacuum chuck, that's what you want now.
I've got them, so I might as well use them.
I was impressed with that vacuum chuck you used, Martin. Mark's bought one. I'm going to have to get one of those. They're very good.
It's a super piece of kit.
Yeah.
Vacuum chucks.
Brian says he's not joking.
Oh
Kurt.
no! Don't do it! Don't do it! Don't do it! Don't do it!
Oh, we just got it.
Oh, it's
No, he's got to change the
no.
buttons.
always the case. There's always one in there.
Interlude, folks. For the interlude,
Joe's-
while Steve changes this, Joe was singing 3 verses of the Yorkshire song.
No.
Oh, we won't put them through that, please.
Steve, while you're doing that,
Yeah.
while you're changing those, could you stick me on and I'll talk to Ian about the black lacquer?
Oh, yeah. So.
Hang on, I'll enlarge you. Hang on. Where's my mouse? Oh, don't do that. I've just highlighted all YouTube. Right, Martin. Which one's Martin?
This one.
One with a hat on. Cap, I mean.
Hang on. Just give me a minute. Give me a minute. Give me a minute.
Oh,
There you go.
we got the... I've really thrown him now, haven't I?
Yeah.
So what do I do? Right, okay, Ian. And for anybody else who's interested, the black lacquer is brilliant, and when you get it on nice and thick, and you actually polish it down to using Yorkshire grit and stuff, you can end up with pieces like that. That's what I mean by like a bottomless bowl. When it's all sanded up, and abraded down to a glass-like finish, you can barely see the bottom of it when you look into it. And this one's been finished on the back with clear lacquer, again about 16-20 coats, something like that, and polished down to. You can. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
You
a
should
proper
be able to
picture
see-
you can see.
All the reflections in there. That's cool. So that's one thing, but you can also do. Oh, let me grab this one. So it's just play with it. I did an egg here, or I've done an egg. But if you look at the quality of surface on there compared to the quality of surface on there, the egg that hasn't been finished properly doesn't look smooth, whereas this one looks smooth. That makes sense. So it's worth going those extra few steps to try and take the surface down as glass-like as you possibly can.
The egg
And
looks
then-
still kind of impressive, though, there, Martin.
Yeah, it's not quite finished. If you look, thank you. If you look at the bottom, that shine there is almost finished, and that one there.
Oh, I see. Yeah,
So there's a polish,
yeah.
and there's just naked lacquer. Okay. Now the other thing, what I did, Ian, is I made a clock, a desk clock.
Well,
Now that's actually looking a little bit blue, but that's going to be down to the white balance of the camera here, and it's incredibly dark. It is. If I just bring it in a little bit, or if I turn that light off that's behind the camera, yeah, it's a little bit better. If I just turn it around there, you might be able to catch. There you go. You can catch some.
Don't tell me you just dropped it.
Yeah, it fell out of the
Oh
stand.
man.
Right, there we go. Let me just dust that off. If I just hold it like that, you can see that we've got some red in there. Now that was several coats, or a couple of the black lacquer coats that was then sanded back. So that was then sanded back, and then it had the ruby intrinsic color. It's better that way. The ruby intrinsic color put into where it was sanded off, so you can still see the sanding marks. Yeah. And then the back of it again hasn't been finished properly, but that's been lacquered, sprinkled with metal powders, lacquered over the top of that, and then more metal powders, so it looks a little bit like a galaxy sort of thing, but that hasn't been polished. And you can see the naked lacquer surface there is all bumpy compared to that one.
So if you was to polish that back, would that take the high points off and take it back down to the metal particles?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. But I've made sure that there are enough coats of lacquer on there to just buff up the lacquer, so you'll be able to see very, very subtly different layers of the metal powders. Yeah. And I've got one more, Steve, if that's all right.
Mate. Yeah, of course it is.
That one, light on again.
Wow.
Yeah, there we
That's
go.
Nice.
This one here. Now, I actually broke this, which I wasn't very happy about. But this one here has been done with the intrinsic colours. In there's the honey, pear green, and forest green. But what I did with this one was I coloured it. I sanded it down to 400 as usual. Sealed it. No, I didn't. I coloured it, sealed it, and then put some lacquer on it. But then I sprayed the colour onto the wet lacquer, let that dry, then more coats of lacquer, sprayed more colour onto the wet lacquer, and you end up with that kind of speckled egg appearance. So that's colour applied, and that's colour applied directly onto wet lacquer.
So does that happen because you put a water base over a cellulose finish?
No, the lacquer's acrylic.
Oh, acrylic lacquer. Oh.
Yeah, so when I sprayed it on as well. I didn't use a towel. I sprayed it on. And what happens then is, because the lacquer's wet and it's an acrylic lacquer, the water on there, it just goes bleh, and it just kind of spreads out a little bit.
Nice.
And that's how I got a really nice sort of speckled egg effect. In fact, there's a little bit of blue in there as well. Yeah.
That's nice. I like that.
But one thing you do need to remember is the more shiny a piece is, the more difficult it is to photograph.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, there we go, Steve. Sorry, I took up that time.
That's not a problem at all, mate. Not a problem at all.
Thank you, Callum, and for anybody else who commented. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, you had some great feedback there. Awesome, excellent finish. Wow, that's nice.
Well, we've got no Terry.
I've got a Terry. I can see both Martin and Terry.
See both of us.
I can, but
There he is.
there
It's changed
it is.
his feed code.
that?
His feed code had changed. What's going on there, Terence? Right. Let's see if we can get this tenon off.
What?
Right. So I'm going to turn this off with a spindle gouge. Quarter spindle gouge. Hopefully it's not going to fall out. But time will tell.
Ian Cook, send me a picture when you've had a play on Sunday. Michael and Christine, thank you very much. And Callum and Colin, thank you everybody for that.
I noticed that you got your maker's stamp at the bottom of the bowl.
Yes.
So is that like a rubber stamp, or is it engraved, or
no?
pyrography?
My maker's mark is actually a cast metal badge, and then infilled with I don't think it's cast. I think it's CNC'd or something like that, and then infilled with soft enamel.
Okay, looks really nice.
You know the pin badges you get with the little
Yeah.
spike on the back and the clasp.
Yeah.
It's basically one of those without the pin and the clasp.
Okay.
Careful, Steve.
That doesn't look like it's running very true.
It doesn't, does it?
No, I don't know. I think the bowl's moved a little bit though.
It cracked as well.
Yeah,
You
correct.
were out of the room, Martin, getting a drink, and there's a crack in it.
Is there?
Yeah,
There
correct.
was, and he said, "I feel it was super clear."
What a
I
shame.
wondered if it's still wet and dried out as he was turning it.
For those of you on YouTube who can't see what I'm doing, I've actually sat back in my chair now.
In awe, waiting for it to jump off.
That's what I like to hear. Faith.
As long as it sits flat.
Is that the
Steve.
thud that we've just heard then?
No, I didn't crack no more. There was a little tiny hairline crack. I've glued it in, so shouldn't go anywhere.
But that might have put the shape out slightly, so now it's
Yeah,
put
I
off
reckon.
centre.
So long as that hairline crack isn't as wide as Terry's parting, you're all right.
No,
That's
it's nowhere.
That's
That's nowhere that's not that wide, Martin.
all years. Nobody's perfect.
Dr. Bob says, Martin, use a light box to take your photos. It will seriously eliminate the glare on your work. Dr. Bob, as a former professional photographer, I have a light box, and I did a video on my YouTube channel last year, I think, on using a light box to take product photos. I guess Dr. Bob doesn't subscribe to me anymore.
No, you'd be fine.
Only teasing, Bob. Harvey Klein, thank you very much. Who's got lacquers in the US? Jeff at thewalnutlog.com is stocking lacquers. I'll put a link in the chat for you. Oops.
Brian Greenson is having to go, so
Thank you very much for
Oh,
coming over.
Brian.
bye for now, Brian.
Thank you.
Cheerio, Brian.
Says thank you all very much.
So just a little bit of sand and sealer on there. All right.
If you burn your logo into the bottom of that, then Steve, does the sand and sealer affect it at all or no?
No. Laser will
No,
burn
don't.
straight through it.
Right.
Just put a little bit of wax on the bottom of it, nothing major. Oops. It's just kamikaze out the cupboard.
Now, Tom Tango Parker said, just an idea for your coal jars. Why not use different coloured Sharpies while turning the jars at a low speed? And that way you have a coloured ring to guide you when fitting the gripper parts.
They've got screws in them. Just move. I don't understand that question. I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying is
for the groove to jaws that they slide, but these are screwing individually.
yeah, you just count the screws down on these ones.
Can learn to count though to get them right.
Yeah, well, you know, I do come from Norfolk.
I need to agree with Steve here, or rather make an observation of Steve. I don't think any time I've ever used my own coal jaws, the buttons have been set to the right diameter.
No.
Every time you pick it up, they're always wrong.
They are always wrong. Even if you're turning two pieces the same, they're still wrong.
Yeah, just that half a turn.
Yeah, it's like, ah.
That was only about, I don't know, half a turn, if that. Right. Let's get it out. Take that out there. Don't leave that in there, Stephen. Let's get a chunk of. Actually, where's my demonstrating bowl? There it is. You see that? No, you can't see that, can you?
No,
That's it.
not very well.
Back of it.
Move the camera down.
It's
a
a
little bit.
very,
That's it.
it's a very sumptuous night colour scheme. That nice
It's
and
very
super.
nice. Nice colour scheme.
Actually, this is a better camera. This one here. So there you go.
That's a great finish for just, comparing that to Martin's lacquered one. That's just with Hampshire sheen. So, and that's a great finish there.
It's got a nice shine to it.
You see the difference the lacquer does to it. It just deepens the shine 10
Yeah.
times.
You do get
It's
a
a
better
good wax.
That's quite nice figured now as well. Look. Those
Mm.
colours have enhanced that.
So yeah,
Lovely.
just shame about the
Lovely
little.
set of colours.
Just shame about the crack coming to it.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yep.
It's what it is.
Good piece, that Steve.
Thank you very
Very
much.
nice.
Cheers.
We can't cry over it. It's only a bit of wood in it.
Yeah. And a bit of fun.
Although with the price of timber at the moment, I'm surprised wood still grows on trees.
Yeah, yeah. You're about right there. Right, let me just get this cold jaws off of here, and I'll bring you guys back. Right, so if anybody's got any more questions for Martin before we kill it, you better stick him in the chat.
You've got some really nice comments, Steve. Got very nice.
Well, even
Nice
Brian
job,
Art
looks
Woodturning
lovely.
said it's not too shabby, I suppose.
That's superb. Cracking piece of work, Steve.
Got a nice
Yeah,
sheen on it,
Looks
actually.
great. Stunner.
Excellent.
Them colours come out really, really nice. Cameras never do them justice, though, do they? Colours.
No.
No, but that looks really nice.
That there is
Yeah.
more bluey than one that shows on the camera,
Mm.
and these
Right.
hair are more purpley reddy colours, especially that little bit there they highlighted. But that camera really, no camera. I'll get some photographs of it afterwards and stick.
What
it
was the other red colour that you put on?
on.
Plum and ruby, wasn't it?
Sky blue,
Ruby.
plum, midnight blue, and we put a bit of ruby in here.
Ruby.
Oh, no
That's the
hair,
one
sorry.
that was-
Yeah,
Yeah.
just put a bit of ruby in there and then rub that
Fabulous.
little bit. No. It's nice little bowl.
Yeah, and but by adding a little bit of ruby to it, obviously the red and the midnight blue. Now the midnight blue is actually a tiny little bit purple anyway. Naturally, I designed it that way. But by adding a little bit of ruby to it, just turns that little patch of midnight blue a bit more purple, and the little bit of ruby on top of the plum turns it again a little bit more. A different shade of purple, because obviously there's a spectrum of all colours. Each colour has got its own sort of little spectrum, right from lilac through to very deep purple. And so by adding a little bit of ruby, it just changes it up a little bit, just to give you a few extra shades of colour.
Dr. Bob's asked a question. He says, because of the higher heat we are getting, will it separate? And if so, how do I fix it? I take it he means the colours or the liquids
Well, he might-
separator.
He might be talking about
No,
the
they
wax.
won't. I don't know.
Do you mean
Dr.
the
Bob,
wax
can you
lot, or
clarify
do
the
you
question?
mean wax separating or colours separating?
Could the wax separate? Might go liquid. Well, surely as it cooled down, that'd go back to.
We shouldn't separate it.
Any wax product can separate a little bit. Mine doesn't do it quite so much, because the way I blend the waxes, I put much more wax in ratio wise to sealer. So you end up with a very stiff product that doesn't separate as easily as others.
Ruby Clear's woken up. Lovely little bowl, Steve. Interesting.
Thank you, Ruby. Thank you very much.
Ruby.
Thank you very
Well done.
much. That's the first time I've ever done them colours, because like I say, my go-to colours are reds in the honey, But actually,
Well, Dr. Bob's saying his grit is like soup.
yeah, put it in the fridge, sir.
Yorkshire grit, I'll take it. I mean,
Yeah, I reckon so. Yeah.
For an hour or so.
Colin, yes, I did get you.
Yeah, just give it a bit of mix.
Yes, I did get you photographs, Colin. I just need to pick which one we're going to put into the auction, mate. So, but there's no hurry. We're not doing it until the October, so I'll have a look at it over the weekend and let you know. Right. So I think there's no more questions.
Doesn't seem to be.
So,
Brilliant, Martin.
so if anybody's going to Harrogate this year, Martin will be there, Joe will be there, Terry will be there, I'll be there. We'll all be there. So come over and say hello. I know it's a long way away, but some of you guys might not come back. But if you're not going to Harrogate,
Nobody might recognise me, Steve. Nobody may recognise me.
Well,
They won't know.
I'm not even going to answer that, Terry. I'm not even going to answer that.
They'll be coming.
Right, so a massive thank you to Martin for coming over and joining us. As always, it's always a pleasure.
You're welcome.
And Martin, like I say, Martin's always, don't care who you are, if you're using the colours properly, and Martin, you need help, Martin will help you. So don't be frightened to send him an email through the shop. I'm sure he'll help you if he can. He's going to...
Yes, I will always help wherever I possibly can. I want to make stuff. I'll put the link in the chat for you when I get my fingers in the right buttons. Yeah, probably the best way to contact me will be via Facebook Messenger or Instagram Messenger. Right, yeah, that's the right link. Yeah, the best way to get hold of me would be through Facebook Messenger or Instagram Messenger, whatever it's called. And I will get back to you as soon as I can. I am insanely busy. So if I can't get back to you, within a few hours, please do be patient and don't hesitate to drop me a chase after a few days.
Busy man. He's a busy man. But the product speaks for themselves, so that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, of course it does.
Right.
Thank you, Steve. Oh, while we're here, I want to give. Hang on. I haven't put all of these up yet, Steve. But Steve's buddy system of things to hang your tools and stuff on are excellent. Oh, I haven't got the one for the chuck because it's in use.
Oh, cool.
And the what's it called? Live center, drive center. Absolutely great. So if you haven't tried them, do give them a try and give Steve a little bit of support with his chuck buddies and what have you.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Because they're worth it. They're really good. Roy's the boy.
Yeah.
Everybody's asking me about why I've got a landing net behind me. I lent it to Les Thorne about 2 months ago, and I haven't actually remembered to take it home yet. Although I am going fishing on Sunday. I have a lake exclusive with some fishing mates. But that landing net is too small for the fish we are hopefully going to be catching.
Fisherman's tail. That's a fisherman's dream, that one. I used to be the same. I'll take this big landing net like this, but it's not going to be big enough.
No, honestly, we're not allowed to. We've got a minimum of 42-inch landing net on the lake.
That's gone mental now because there's
some nice fish there,
mats and all sorts now, isn't there?
Yeah, I use a cradle.
That's the best way, I think. Yeah, I used to have a cradle.
Yeah, fish safety is the number one priority.
You see so many poor fish with their lips damaged and scabs all over them where they've been bashed and battered about. It's a shame.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so if anybody does have any advice, or if anybody does want any advice, drop me a message tomorrow because I'm not going to be answering any messages at all until Wednesday.
So now you know.
Go on.
Aston, I did get your email. I think I'll double check, but I'm sure I got it, mate. Right, so we're going to go. Thank you very much for everybody coming over. Massive thank you to Martin for spending the evening with us and the information.
You're very
and
welcome.
Hope you guys have learned something. Hope Martin's answered any questions that you guys wanted. And as he just said, if you've got a question, contact him. He'll be willing to help. So a massive thank you to Joe. Thank you, Joe, for joining us.
Welcome.
Thank you
Hi,
very
Joe.
much, Terry. Hang around a bit, Martin.
You're welcome, Steve, anytime.
If you want to hang around for a few minutes, Martin, we'll have a chat at the end. All right, mate.
Yeah, no problem.
Right, so I will see. I'm on tomorrow on the Virtual Crafty Festival. Full weekend this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I've got a happy wife, as you can understand about that one. So I will see you tomorrow on the Virtual Crafty Festival. If you don't know what it is, go over to the Virtual Crafty Festival YouTube channel. All the information's on there. I'm on 6 till 7, I believe, and I believe Joe and Terry will be joining me. So come over and see what I'm doing tomorrow night. Not sure what I'm doing yet, but only got an hour, so it's going to be whatever it is. It's going to be quick. So other than that, guys, I will see you Sunday. If you don't come over tomorrow, I'll see you Sunday. Me and Nick will be back on Sunday night. I'm not sure if Brian's back on Monday night, but we will find out on Sunday. So other than that, have a great weekend.
Pizza on Monday lunchtime.
There you go, pizza on lunchtime. So anyway, have a great weekend. Take care. Speak to you soon, and bye for now. Say night, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Cheers, everybody.
Night, guys.
Thanks for watching.
See you again.
Bye-bye.
That's all, folks.